Saul has this encounter with the Spirit of God. He has an encounter with the Spirit of God, and literally it impacts his life. Later we see that Saul becomes a king of Israel. He literally receives the anointing and he receives the office. But can I go a little bit deeper here? After he receives the anointing upon him and he receives the office and he operates in the gift, he still has demons. He still struggles with rebellion. He's still disobedient. He's still schizophrenic, even though he has a title. He still deals with insecurity issues. We know this because in the book of Samuel, when he's confronted by Samuel, the first thing Samuel says is, when you were little in your own sight, God made you captain of Israel, meaning that he dealt with deep insecurities. Why? Because he had an anointing on him. I don't know if we're ready for this message tonight. There's a difference between, okay, I'm going to break it down because y'all got to catch this. This is how the Lord gave it to me. You got to see this because it blew my mind. I said, God, why can we be in the presence of God? You've gone to great meetings. You've gone to people, man, people were slain everywhere. There were wigs everywhere and eyelashes everywhere. And you come on stepping over your neighbor and there was so much oil dripping from the ceiling and the angels, the wings slapped you in your nose and got one of the feathers got in your eyes. Now you can't see for a couple of days. And you had all these experiences, but you can go out of that meeting where there was so much glory that the seraphim and the cherubim and Cupid were there, and you felt so much power and anointing and can go right back to your house and feel like giving up. No, see, we don't want to talk about it. We really don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. That you can be in all these powerful atmospheres where the anointing and the glory is operating, and man, it's on you. Somebody says it's on me. You feel God on you. You feel his presence. You know that's God. You know that's God. And watch this. Sometimes in that atmosphere, the gift is operating. That's the gift operating. And that's why you can speak in tongues so easily. And that's why you can prophesy to the person next to you, even though when you were on your way to the meeting, you were thinking about quitting on God and everybody else. But because the anointing is flowing, you're prophesying. Girl, don't you give up now, honey. You can do it, honey. Now, just 5 minutes ago, you said, God, I'm going to drive my car off a cliff. But when this person comes to you, you said, you can do it, baby. You can do it. Why? Listen to me. Listen to this. Why can I feel all of that? All of that, that's real. It's not fake. It's real. You felt the tangible presence of God. You felt God move in your life. And you felt God do so many things in your life and touch you in such a miraculous way. Watch this. But there's still a desire for a breakthrough. Because, friends, can I submit to you? Can I submit to you? There are two different anointings. What most of us have encountered is what I call the anointing of power. In other words, when Saul of Kish, when Saul, the king of Israel, encounters, when he comes into proximity with the gifting, when he comes into proximity with the power of God operating, he too begins to operate in that power. That's the power of God upon his life. There were many men in the Old Testament that had the anointing of power. You look at the Samson. Samson, though he dealt with immorality, had an anointing on him. And we don't want to have this conversation, but I think we need to, because Samson had so many issues, but he was anointed. And what he would do when Samson would face an enemy, the Bible say he would shake himself. And when he would shake those locks loose, the anointing would come on him and he would have supernatural strength and be able to face the enemy. Are you hearing me? That's the anointing upon. That's the anointing of power. But hear this, and this is what the Lord is saying to us in this season, because the anointing of power, this is going to be, I know. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Let me get it out. The anointing of power is not enough. It's not enough. And it won't be enough in the days ahead. It's not enough. It's not, somebody say it's not enough. It is not enough. If it were enough, King Saul would have become a different person. It is possible to have God on you and not allow him to work in you. We've seen it for decades. Come on, somebody. That's why there's folks who can speak in tongues but can't apologize in English. This is why we have people that have words of knowledge, but they're still nasty. Because the gift was never meant to address the inward need. It was never meant. Saul has the anointing on him, there's no doubt. He's flowing in it. But it was not enough to transform him. It was not enough to deal with his insecurities. It was not enough to change his inner being. You need to hear this, because this is the problem. We have people seeking power. The anointing of power, our highest pursuit is to be powerful. Man, I want God to work in my life, and I want God to do this, and I want to be like Smith Wigglesworth. And those things are admirable, but that's only one piece of the puzzle. So there's an anointing of power, but hear this, there's also another anointing, the anointing of presence.